Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the breakdown. I'm Tone. It's fantastic to have you joining yet another one of my videos. Today, yesterday. It's now the 27th of November. Yesterday, Wednesday, the 26th of November marked the last day that Menulog exists in Australia. It's finished. And it's a little ironic that I wear this jumper. Don't quit, right? Do it. Menulog didn't do the things that they really needed to do, so they've quit. And boy, there's a lot of stuff to unpack. So I don't really know where to start, and I don't really want to make this video super long. But it's becoming clearer to me, looking at the media coverage about the closure of Menulog in Australia, looking at the media releases talking about the changes that are going to come to the gig economy now that we've just got two major players, Uber and DoorDash, and a couple of smaller, more boutique kind of delivery platforms. There are changes being discussed. There is a union involved, which is just going to, I don't know. I really don't know where this is going to go. I do get the fact that there is a big push to make it so that delivery drivers are employees of the platforms. Now, there's a big problem with that, and that is that the majority of delivery drivers do the job because there is an immense amount of flexibility. That is the trade-off. We don't make as much out of doing delivery work as what we would in another job, but we also get that complete flexibility. We are our own boss. We are a subcontractor. We go to work when we can, when we want to, and we get out of it what we put into it. If we work longer hours, we make more. But it's the flexibility aspect that these delivery drivers like myself want and need, and that's why we continue to do what we do. Now, if you were to say that, okay, the platforms go down the path of employment and they want to guarantee a minimum wage per hour and all these sorts of things, that autonomy disappears. That could actually have a detrimental effect on how many drivers can be retained, because that flexibility that the drivers wanted is now gone. And that would be one, I would be one of those. I would say you got a union involved and you allowed them to screw everything up. That's me done. I'm not going to be involved with this anymore. I'm not going to be an employee of DoorDash. I'm a subcontractor. I subcontract to DoorDash. Fantastic. Now, I'm wondering whether Menulog decided that, no, they weren't going to be a part of that. They wanted to get out before Australia made its first move to the new system they want to bring in next year. Could be. All I can tell you, that's a lot of speculation. What I can tell you is what you're being told if you've been looking into why Menulog exited the market. What you're being told is not the full story. Whenever is the full story told to us, but Menulog was fantastic as a option for me when I started in 2020. Pay was fine. There were plenty of orders to do. But around 2022 and into 2023, I know that Menulog was facing some challenges about, I guess, in many ways, retaining drivers. And because Menulog ran using shifts rather than just like the the Uber and DoorDash model, where you could just turn on the app, go to work, turn it off when you wanted to, all those sorts of things. Menulog had shifts, 3 hours or 4 hour shifts, and you were locked in. You committed to doing that period of time. So the flexibility was a little bit less. But you still had the option to say no or yes to delivery offers, because remember, they're offering you, you're the boss. Now, in 2023, they decided that they would put a bit of pressure on the drivers and say that if your percentage acceptance rate dropped down to 40%, and it was consistently there over a period of time, that would be like we had to sign a new contract saying that if that did occur, we could be on the chopping block, we could be deactivated. Now, a large number of drivers did not sign that contract, and for that next 2 weeks, I was the busiest I've ever been. And I emailed them and said, you guys have made a big mistake here. You can't tell the drivers what to do, because you can't say that we can say yes or no to offers and then say that our acceptance rate of a certain level would be tantamount to deactivation or being deactivated. You can't do that. And the drivers have said no, they haven't signed this contract. 2 weeks after they did that change, I mean, I signed it. It was my work. But I could tell what was going to happen. 2 weeks later, they reneged on that. They said, we'll go back to our original contract with you, and we're going to take that new clause out. And then moving forward, we'll try and find another change that is going to be amicable for customers, drivers, Menulog itself, and shop owners. We'll try and find something else. They never came back with any other contract change in the 2 years that followed that muck up. And the other thing that they never got back was the full trust of the drivers. And drivers were starting to pick up the Menulog order, like as in accept that order, but not go collect it. And then they were running multiple apps at a time, which is not a practice that I've done. Don't like it. It's not a good idea. For many, many reasons I won't go into right now. But they would have, let's say, DoorDash running and Menulog running. The Menulog offer was not as good as the DoorDash offer. And DoorDash has different protocols in place where if you don't go and do the order, you can get penalties or, that sort of thing. Whereas Menulog didn't have that. So you say yes to the Menulog order. It's not that great, but it's not real busy. So you start heading towards that one. And then DoorDash gives an order. Well, they accept that one because it's a far better paying job and a shorter distance. And then 15 minutes after picking up the DoorDash offer and going to collect that, the Menulog order offer just automatically cancels because the driver's no longer moving towards the Menulog order. And it gets reassigned to someone like me who rocks up there late, according to the shop, because it's been reassigned to me and I would arrive there. This is how I started to understand what was going on. I let Menulog know, you guys, if you keep going down this path, you won't survive. You've got to be making sure that you're looking after your drivers and paying properly. Nah, look, they did it to themselves. How about we just talk about this for a moment too? This consistently happened to me, and I know all other drivers were having the same issue. Menulog, unlike DoorDash, Menulog had a system where if you needed to wait for an extended period of time, you got a wait time pay. There was a period of time when you first arrive at the shop where it sort of was factored in that you might have to wait for a little while. And then after that, calculated over the next 20 minutes, you would get paid up to $5 wait time fee. This was charged to the shop because they were being penalised for taking too long. So Menulog would charge the shop, and then that would get paid to me, the driver. But there were countless times where I didn't receive that wait time pay. I would complain to them, let them know that this was a glitch or something that was going on. They never followed it up. I was never reimbursed for that. And a lot of drivers were really fed up with that towards the end. Like, it was just, they would have been, I know they were charging the shop that full $5. I was waiting there for that extended period of time, a bit frustratingly, but I was waiting. And then I would drop off the order, complete it, and it wouldn't come up as showing that I had to wait. And when I contacted them, they'd say, no, look, our system shows that you collected it at this time and dropped it off at this time. There's no wait time period factored in here. That's why you haven't been paid it. And I'm just like, unbelievable. I took screenshots of this stuff and sent it to them in emails and that, but they didn't want to have a bar of it. These practices over the last 5 years when I was working for them, especially in the last 3 years, this is why they're gone. This is why they're gone. But the idea that we need to go to have a union get involved so that we get better pay conditions and that sort of thing, it's what it's doing is it's wanting to squeeze out that autonomy. It's wanting to, I guess, clean up the industry by getting us to be employees. I don't know one driver that wants to be an employee. That's not why we do it. So, look, when push comes to shove, I'll be very interested to see just what actually happens to the gig economy in Australia. Because if they really push it to the point where drivers are unhappy, it will just completely disintegrate the whole system. Because there just won't be enough drivers saying, yeah, I'll sign up to that. Because now we're just no different to, I don't know, like a UPS driver in America where you're paid an hourly wage and you go to where you're told to go. Or, I don't know, what else, what have we got here? FedEx. Like, you are employed. This is your route for the day, and you go and you drop all these orders off. That's not DoorDash. That's not Uber. If Uber and DoorDash become like that, that's me out. I'm finished. I won't stay around for that because it's not what I signed up for. And it's changed into something that doesn't work for me. I really hope they don't mess it up that badly, but when you've got government agencies and unions involved with stuff, exactly the union that's working in this stuff, they don't actually, their place to fight on our behalf is not there. We're not part of that union. I couldn't give a stuff what that union wants to say and do. But here they are, they're getting involved in something that's just not their business, and they're being allowed to do it. And what it tells me is there's a much, much bigger game being played that I just don't want to be a part of. But that's it. Menulog's gone. DoorDash, that's it. That's what I'm doing now. And I believe that it would be a far, far better option for any sort of, I don't know, legislation or any sort of government involvement. Just legislate a transparent algorithm and a fairer one. This idea, and this is a serious thing. The idea that a driver should be being paid a base wage and be an employee, therefore, for a delivery platform, whether or not an order is being made, what does that do to the bottom line of a company that, needs to stay solvent so that I have a job? Okay, let's say they pay me $25 an hour, but I do and I work for 5 hours. That's $125 for the total shift. But I only do 3 or 4 orders. $125. And I just went and did 3 or 4 orders because it wasn't busy. That's not economical. It's not fair. Why would I be due that sort of money just for sitting around in the car and not doing any work? So I understand I understand where they're sort of coming from in wanting to do that, but they've got no place to expect that. That's ridiculous. And what it will do is it will destroy the gig economy. It will. That would be the finish of it. Not to mention the fact that there'd be drivers that have already left because they don't want to be employees. So I don't know. The fact that Menulog left, I have no doubt the reason they've left is because they're insolvent. They can't make any money because they did enough to make drivers say, that's it. We're not going to be around. We're not going to work for you. DoorDash and Uber are far better options for us. Well, as I told Menulog countless times, no drivers, no deliveries will be done for you. You won't exist. Now they're gone. It makes sense. It's common sense. But the same can happen for Uber and DoorDash, even though they're, big players. The same thing can happen for them. If they're not listening, if platforms, government, unions, everything don't listen to what the drivers are wanting and just start to play the game of they think they know what we want, but it's not what we want, we won't be there. And everything will just fall apart. And maybe Menulog could see that as well. And they just went, look, we already see what we've done's not worked. And what they're going to do is only going to make it worse. We're not being a part of that. We're pulling out now. Right? That's it. That's probably what happened. So, yeah. Bye-bye, Menulog and DoorDash, Uber, Australian government, Victorian government, unions, eyes open, ears open. If you want this thing to continue to move forward and in some way kind of repair it, the current trajectory you are on is not gonna cut it. And I'm telling you right now, it won't work. I know it. I've been in it long enough to know it. But hey, who am I? Just a humble DoorDash driver now. That's all I am. I don't know what I'm talking about. I said that Menulog would be no more as soon as the beginning of this year, and I was a bit wrong on my timeline, but it's still this year. I've got plenty of people that will vouch for the fact that I said that. But I don't know anything. Right? I don't know. I'm telling you, it'll be the end of it if they're not careful. And that just means that I need to keep my ears and eyes open as well and just go, okay, maybe I need to find another option. Just like I moved to DoorDash because I believed that Menulog was going to finish. Now maybe I need to look for something else that allows me to transition into that if the whole idea of trying to make things better completely kills the gig economy in Australia. It is what it is, isn't it? But hey, don't quit. Just do it. I'll keep doing it for as long as I can. Thanks for listening to my rant, because that's basically what this was. But I hope you understood a little bit of what I was trying to tell you about how the system has been working, what they're trying to do, what the likely outcome will be. I was busy today, so I didn't get the chance, but I will be having a celebration for the closure of Menulog because, in my opinion, Menulog got what they deserve. I gave them as much information as I could to help them stay viable. They didn't listen. I'm not anyone that they would bother listening to, I guess, but the result is what I thought would happen. So I'll have a little bit of a celebration about being right. I'll have a little bit of a celebration about the fact that a company that did not treat its drivers properly is now no more. And I'll be praying that DoorDash, Uber, the Australian government, and the unions don't make the similar mistakes and completely break the whole thing into pieces, because there'll be a lot of people out of work. There'll be a lot of angry customers who can no longer have the services that they've become very accustomed to. And it'll just be a shame to break something that actually works quite well. Anyway, thank you for joining me on this rant on Tone's The Breakdown. I'm Tone. Thank you very much for joining me. As always, God bless you. Please take care. See you in the next videos. Bye-bye.